Hey everybody, this is Swan with BlackBoxStocks. Hope you had a great day today. Today I want to briefly talk about a strategy called opening range breakout, ORB. And there's three time frames that we can talk about: the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 30-minute. The reason why I want to talk about this is we get asked all the time in BlackBox, is there a way that we can set support and or resistance levels on the chart automatically for day traders? And the answer is absolutely 100% yes. It's called opening range breakout. And here's how it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to studies. I'm going to add the opening range breakout of the 5-minute ORB right there, ORB. What this does is it takes into consideration the high and the low in the first 5 minutes of the market open. So this was the 5-minute high, this was the 5-minute low. At 9:35, those lines become firm. They don't move the rest of the day. Then you can add the 15-minute as well. I add the 15-minute and now we have a lower low because we went lower after between 9:35 and 9:45. But we did not move higher. So we have the same high as the 5 and the 15. Here's your 5-minute low, and this is your 15-minute low. Now, as you look at that chart, do you not see why this is important and why this is such a great way to see support levels and or resistance levels that come into play throughout the day? You can see we set this level right here. At 9:45, this level got set on that candle right there. But what happens is throughout the day, then this becomes support. Look, bounced, bounced, bounced. Later in the day, around lunchtime, bounced again. But what also comes into play is this 5-minute low. Because if you notice, we tried to get through it and we came right back down. We tried to get through it and we came right back down. We tried to get through it. We didn't even make it that far. This time we just wicked to it and we came back down. We wicked to it. We came back down. But finally we busted through it. And once we did, that was some nice momentum to carry through because of the support level here, this resistance level being broken. And now we're getting this big move. Then there was a little bit of a drop again. Probably some news candles came in. But where did we bounce? Right here at the ORB low. Again, bouncing, getting through it. Nope, resistance, came back down, consolidated, back up, through we go. Now we're trying to get over this high, which eventually we did. And now we're saying, okay, now let's see if we can get up and over this ORB high. And we consolidated on that level. Finally, with some news, we popped through it. Came back through. Look where we bounced. Came right back down and bounced off of that ORB high. And we consolidate again, dipped below, a little bit of inverted head and shoulders here. Busted through. You can see we bounced there again. This is a great way of showing you how to use support and or resistance throughout the day without having to manually draw those lines in. The ORB 5, the ORB 15, and you can also add the ORB 30. If we go to QQQ, I add the ORB 30, you'll see what happens is we get an additional line down here because between 9:45 and 10 o'clock, Qs did push lower. Did that level come back into play? It absolutely did. About a half an hour later, we bounced off that level once again. You can see, played up to the next level, consolidated, broke out, consolidated, dipped. Once we broke through it again, consolidated, bounce, 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 and then broke through. A great way again. ORB, opening range breakout. Let's look at one more. We'll look at Target. As we know, Target's been in the news a lot lately because of some controversial clothing and things they're trying to sell. But Target here has the same thing. This is the ORB 5, 15, and the 30. You can see there I have all three showing. There's only two lines. Why? Because we didn't move higher and we did not move lower than we did in those first 30 minutes. So they all line up. That tells us that those two lines are going to be very strong. And they definitely proved to be that. Once we lost this ORB 30 low, which is also your 5-minute low and your 15-minute low, we could not get back in. Notice here. We dipped. We tried to get back in. Rejected. 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 Came back up, rejected. Came back in, rejected. Finally, later in the day, probably some shorts covering, we did get back into this ORB level and then consolidate right into the close. So again, if you're struggling and trying to find different ways to day trade, try to use the ORB strategy, opening range breakout. Hopefully this was beneficial for you today. Stay tuned. The next episode, we're going to talk about the go, no-go trend study, which is so cool. Swan out, stay green.